Once upon a time, there lived a poor widow in a cottage deep in the forest. In front of the cottage there stood tall two rose trees, which bore white and the other red roses. The widow had two children that looked just like the rose trees. One was called Snow White and the other Rose Red. The girls were as good and happy, as busy and cheerful as ever two children in the world were. The two children were so fond of one another, and when Snow White said, "We will not leave each other," Rose Red answered, "Never so long as we live." And the mother would add, "What one has, she must share with the other." In the winter, the small little family sat round the hearth, and the mother read aloud out of a large book as Snow White and Rose Red sat and spun listening to the story. One chilly evening, there was a knock at the door. Rose Red unbolted the door, only to find a huge bear stretching his head through the door. Rose Red screamed, and Snow White hid behind her mother. Then the bear begins to speak. "Do not be afraid. I will do you no harm." "Poor bear," said the mother, "lie down by the fire. Only take care that you do not burn your coat. Snow White, Rose Red, come out. The bear will do you no harm. He means well." So they both came out, and day by day the girls got closer to the bear that the doors were never fastened until the blackbird had arrived. When spring arrives, the bear bids farewell to Snow White. The bear told Snow White that he needs to guard his treasures from the wicked dwarf. Although Snow White was quite sorry at his departure, she unbolted the door for him. The bear ran quickly, but he got caught against the bolt. A piece of his coat was torn off. There was a gold shining through it, and the bear was soon out of sight behind the trees. Not long after the bear's departure, the mother sent her daughters into the forest to get firewood. There they found a dwarf with an old withered face and a yard-long beard. The end of his beard was caught in a crack of a trunk, and the little fellow was jumping about, not knowing what to do. He glared at the girls, scolding them for not helping him. So the girls tried their hardest and ended up cutting the end of his beard. However, as soon as the dwarf felt himself free, he took his bag full of gold and grumbled, "Odd gulf people, to cut a piece of my fine beard! Bad luck to you." Sometime afterwards, as the girls were going to catch some fish, they saw the dwarf in the water. His beard was entangled with his fishing line, so the girls had to cut his beard again. He screamed angrily. He took his bag that was full of pearl, and he disappeared behind a stone. On the third encounter, Snow White and Rose Red saw a large bird hovering in the air and settled near a rock not far from them. Then they heard a loud cry. They ran up and saw that the eagle had seized the dwarf and was going to carry him off. Snow White and Rose Red pulled him against the eagle so long till they freed him. Then the dwarf scolded them for tearing his coat. He took up a sack full of precious stone, and he slipped away under the rock. As the girls went on their way home, they saw the dwarf emptying out his bag of precious stones, and again he started swearing at the girls. Suddenly, a loud growling was heard. "Roar!" And a black bear came trotting towards them. The dwarf cried, "Dear Mr. Bear, spare me. I will give you all my treasures. Grant me my life. Come, take these two weak girls. They are tender morsels for you, fat as young quails. For mercy's sake, eat them." The bear took no heed of his words, but gave the weak creature a single blow with his paw, and he did not move again. The girls had run away, but the bear called to them, "Snow White, Rose Red, do not be afraid. Wait, I will come with you." Then they recognized his voice and waited. And when he came up to them, suddenly his bear skin fell off, and he stood there a handsome man, clothed all in gold. "I am King's son," he said. and I was bewitched by that wicked dwarf. I have had to run about the forest as a savage bear until I was freed by his death. Later, Snow White was married to him, and Rose Red to his brother, and they divided between them the great treasure which the dwarf had gathered in his cave. The old mother lived peacefully and happily with her children for many years. She took the two rose trees with her, and they stood before her window, and every year bore the most beautiful roses, white and red.